All right, let's look at chapter 6, which deals with the skeletal system. So let's take a look at the functions of the skeletal system. All right, so let's just go to this picture showing our entire skeletal system. One, it provides us with structural support. So it provides a framework that supports the body. All right, next is blood cell production. So this occurs in a red bone marrow. A red bone marrow fills internal cavities. So like within bone, we're going to see this shortly, but we have all these internal cavities, and that's where the red bone marrow is, and that's going to produce all of our blood cell types. So red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. So red blood cells transport oxygen, white blood cells are defensive cells, and platelets cause blood coagulation, blood clotting. Next is protection. So the third thing is protection. So it protects our internal tissues and organs. Also, it's used for mineral and lipid storage. So our bone is primarily made of calcium phosphate. Now calcium is the most abundant mineral in the human body. We have anywhere from 1 to 2 kilograms of calcium. So another way to think about it is that's like 2.5 to 4.5 pounds of calcium in our body. Now we use calcium for more than just making bone. We use it in blood clotting. We use it for nerve impulses. We also use it for muscle contractions. We'll get to those things later on. Lastly, we also use our bones for leverage. So it serves for levers for the skeletal muscles. Now, one of the things I didn't mention here is that our skeletal system does not provide movement. It allows for movement, but does not provide movement. Our muscles move the bones, and that's going to move our body parts. Let's look at the classification of bones. All right. So just to let you know, the adult human body has 206 bones. In actuality, when we're younger, like a fetus coming out of our mom, we actually have more bones. A lot of these bones will fuse together. So that's why the number decreases. So let's take a look at groups of bones. So I want to go back to this other picture here. So one group of bone is our axial skeleton. So these are the bones of the skull, vertebral column, and rib cage. So the stuff in the middle, all right? And then next is our appendicular skeleton, and these are bones of the upper and lower arms and girdles here. So arms, and legs, and then the pelvic girdle, pectoral girdle up here. Okay, let's take a look at classifying these by shapes. So one are long bones. Long bones are longer than they are wide. So these are like arm and leg bones. Also your fingers and toes are in these long bone categories. Next are short bones. So these are kind of cube-like in appearance. So these are the bones like of your wrists and ankles. So these bones like in this area here. Next are flat bones. Flat bones are kind of plate-like bones. So the bones of the cranium up here, our ribs are actually flat bones. Next are irregular bones. So irregular bones are bones that have a variety of shapes and sizes. So these are like facial bones. So this is one of our facial bones called the sphenoid bone. And also vertebrae are in this group. So it's basically we just lump everything else together. Last group are called sesamoid bones. Now they're not named for their shape, but I don't know where else to stick this, so I put it here. These are bones that are embedded within tendons. So a really good example of this is your kneecap or patella. So it's not directly connected to other bones, it's within tendons there. All right, let's look at the types of bone tissue. So we look at this picture here, we can see these two types of bone tissue. We have compact bone and then spongy bone. Now compact bone is a type of bone that has a continuous matrix with no gaps. So you can see it's just solid bone there. All right, and this is found on the edges of a bone. All right, so it makes a hard, rigid structure there. So inside of that is spongy bone. This is a type of bone that is made of many branching bony plates called trabeculae. So all these things here are called trabeculae. So all these different plates moving in different directions. Spongy bone is very porous, and the reason it is so it lightens the bone, so the bone isn't just compact bone all the way through. And it's found on the interior of a bone, and it contains a red bone marrow. All right,